Is it possible? Could another Marvel game be on its last legs? What I want to talk about today is actually inspired by a notification I got on my phone yesterday to check out a thread from a subreddit that I rarely visit, Marvel Strike Force. Now, I don't want to make this whole video a comparison of Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Future Fight, but I do want to make some quick comparisons here just so that we're clear on a couple of things. One, Marvel Strike Force is actually younger than Marvel Future Fight. Marvel Future Fight was released in 2015. I think Marvel Strike Force was released in 2016, 2017, 2018. It was definitely later. I don't know how many years, but it was absolutely later. So it is technically a younger game. Secondly, what I want to illustrate here with just a quick little back and forth is that there are over 110,000 users registered or sort of like subscribed to the Marvel Strike Force Reddit, with 25 active right now. Whereas Marvel Future Fight has 66,000 subscribed with only 21 active right now. Similar active numbers with about half of the total registered numbers. Now that could mean nothing. That could simply be the fact that most MFF players don't go on Reddit, or a majority of them don't, a larger portion of them don't, or it could mean something else. But what I want to focus on here a little bit more is this post that was recommended to me, and it's one of the most upvoted posts recently on their subreddit. It's not the most would be disgusted by this pride orb, which I don't know what that means roughly, but this one here, beginning to notice a sense of apathy creep into the game. And I'm not going to read this whole thing out to you. Big shout out to Dry Eye 9359, because whatever you said caught the algorithm's eye, and then it made me catch its eye, so good on you. And for what it's worth, right, I hope that Marvel Strike Force lasts as long or longer than Marvel Future Fight, and I hope that Scopely and the dev team there listens to Valley Flying, listens to Mobile Gamer, and listens to all the big names and content creators and voices and the MSF Council and stuff like that. I hope they listen and they fix the game and they improve the game. But what I want to highlight here, again, these are not my words. These are the words of a longtime hardcore player, right? So they really go on to say that basically there's nothing to farm, and they've been playing for a long time. And that's essentially it. I don't need to read much more of it, but they go into detail about what's going on, but they're basically saying, listen, I want to spend money. I want to build characters. Like, I want to do more in the game, and there's nothing to do. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. He has friends who are level 95, which is presumably very, very high level players, and they never buy anything, and they have all the farmable characters at 7 stars. So it seems like whether you're a spender or not, there doesn't seem to be a lot to do. And they're literally just asking for more things to do. I used to play, and I still do, Disney Sorcerer Alliance, and that game died due to too many of the same issues, and I'd hate to see this game, which is my favorite, fall into the same trap. So they're feeling, like, what's going on here? There's no sense of urgency, right? Where's the pedal on the gas, right? The sense of apathy creeping into the game. This is not a good sign. And I want to sort of juxtapose that with what we're seeing in the Marvel Future Fight arena, where people are rightfully confused, disappointed, outraged by this idea that we're getting content that's gated behind a $40 paywall, potentially, right? We don't know yet if it's, well, we know that's part of it's for sure not gated behind it, but some of it may be gated behind Franklin. But what I basically am pointing out here is that change is good. Even if change is bad, change is good. Because for whatever this means to you, change to me means that they're still invested in the future of the game. And again, I don't want to make this whole video about Marvel Strike Force, but in that thread, I realized, there will come a day in the future when there are no updates with stuff like this for us to talk about in Marvel Future Fight, where there is no big drama or whatever, because there's no new emblem system, there's no new sword, P-card, crafting, nothing. And that's when we will truly realize that it's possible the game is headed to its final step. Now, sure, there's another way of looking at this. You could say, well, Alex, maybe they're just done milking players in Marvel Strike Force. That's a good thing, but they're still milking players in Marvel Future Fight. Absolutely. You can have a different take on this. That can be your take. Again, I don't think that's, like, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think aspects of that can be true at times, especially if you're looking at, you know, how good is the content that you pay $40 for, how good is Franklin versus the stuff that you get for free, right? So you can sort of have that value discussion. I'm not really interested in having that value discussion in this video, but I do want to recognize that there are other points, there are other voices out there that feel differently. But my take is always pretty straightforward. I would rather have something to fight about than have nothing to talk about. And you can even extend that sort of thing to relationships, and it's a bit cringe, but basically, you know, I would consider a relationship with, you know, someone that you're physically attracted to, whatever. I mean, that kind of relationship, not like a friendship. Maybe you can extend it to friendships even, and family relationships even. That, you know, if you have nothing to talk about and it's just dead silence, that's arguably worse than having a conflict that needs to be resolved. And I'm not talking conflict like, you know, you're fighting physically or there's like emotional abuse. I just mean a conflict that you're invested in, because it means that both parties are still in some way invested. And that's important, right? That's important for the longevity of a game. That's important for a game to continue. And it just doesn't seem like, I mean, according to this person, right, with 79 upvotes, and I don't know what the percentage of upvotes is. I can't tell here because of the whatever, the, you know, thing here. Oh, 91% upvoted. There you go. So it seems like people agree, right? It seems like for whoever's active on the Reddit, they agree. Now, I certainly can acknowledge that the Reddit can have a skewed perception of reality and a skewed perception of the game's reality. I've seen that from my fair share of that on the Marvel Future Fight subreddit. So again, this may not be 100% accurate, and things are rarely 100% accurate. But it's more about, Jesus, the laundry list of rules just jump scared me. But it's more about the idea that, right, you know, change is good, and that on some level we should embrace change. Now, that being said, I don't think MFF is a perfect game, right? I'm not trying to dick ride or glaze MFF, even though it may seem like that, and at times maybe I am, but right now I'm certainly not, right? MFF is not perfect. Just to give you guys a really quick rundown of things that I have been saying in recent videos. Yesterday's video, we just made fun of tier 4 character balancing and how bad that's been for this year, so that's already on the table. And then there are still several game modes that need major upgrades to gameplay and rewards, most notably Alliance Conquest and Timeline Battle. And they basically need to apply the magic that makes ABX, ABL, Story Mode, World Boss Legend exciting. They need to apply that magic to PvP game modes AC, Alliance Conquest, and Timeline Battle. And then they need to improve rewards, and they need to make the gameplay less predictable. So that's just a very quick summary on how I feel about the game, how I think a lot of people feel about the game, and things that they need to improve. I acknowledge those things need to be improved. That being said, Netmarble does a great job of trying to keep MFF fresh with new content, new, you know, systems, so that even if it's not what we think we want, it's something to grind for. It's something that's going to take months. It's going to take years to really get through, to chew through. And that means that they have a long-term goal in mind, right? They're not just looking at the next thing, because if they were looking at the next thing, there would be no investment into this emblem system, right? There would be no investment into this, and it would just be Doom tier 4, God Emperor Doom tier 4, boom. We're dropping God Emperor Doom, and we're dropping Beyonder. Guys, we're dropping all the flashy stuff, blah blah blah. We're just gonna boom 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 boom, right? We're not adding anything new. We're just gonna do the flashy stuff, and then we're just gonna pull away, right? So that's kind of, you know, that's kind of my take. But further to that, I do want to look now at the dev note from just before the anniversary, and I want to take stock on what they said they would do and what they've done, and really see what's left, because this is something that does worry me about the game, and I think we need to hold them more accountable to, man, 150,000 people looked at this. That's impressive. I think we need to hold them accountable to, you know, do even more. And I think that's what makes this game great. I think that the devs do a lot for this game. I think Netmarble does a lot for this game, and I think we push them to do even more than they would normally do, right? Not just on this channel, other channels, Beast Mode, you know, Japak Dashik and the Korean community, a lot of great content creators from Marvel Future Fight and their communities push the devs to do even more. And I think that's why this game has lasted so long, longer than other games, and I think that's why it's going to continue to last long. But let's take a look here. So let's see what they promised, or you know, what they were talking about would be coming to the game. So looking back on the past year, all right, so we added additional PvP content, sure. Okay, new content in development. All right. So the first one is a new form of narrative content. So this is going to be the multiverse saga that we're going to be getting very shortly. In this context, the characteristics of the heroes will stand out as much as possible, and agents will be able to enjoy the maximum fun from exploring a story. So this is going to be the story of Valeria and Franklin being kidnapped by Doom, and then the Fantastic Four having to come to their aid, rather than simple repetitive play. This will allow agents to enjoy a different experience compared to what they have done in Legendary Battle and Epic Quest. Again, what I reacted at the time, and I think a lot of people reacted at the time, is that this you need to make sure that it's not a one and done type content, because when they compared it to Legendary Battle and Epic Quest, those things are good, the content is good, but it's one and done. So you never play it again after it's done, which is bad. Secondly, we are preparing a new collectible growth content. This has to be the new emblem system. This content will be of interest to any Marvel comic fan. Okay, definitely this is the emblem system because they're talking about comics, they're talking about characters being introduced in the emblem system that will never be introduced into the game because they have no powers or whatever. And someone pointed out to me that the emblems that they feature, I don't have any screenshots handy here in the video, but any of the emblems that they feature are actually just pulled straight from comic covers or straight from inside the comic books. The focus is on the fun of collecting, and the growth elements will be designed to be uncomplicated. Okay, so that's good. If that's the case, then it shouldn't be expensive, and it shouldn't be a paywall sort of whale thing. Agents can receive various benefits by using what they collect, so please look forward to it. Okay, that's the emblem system. Lastly, we are preparing a new multiplayer content. This content will be developed with the concept of blocking waves of enemies together. Okay, we have not seen this yet. This has not been announced. We have not seen this. Agents will be able to enjoy the fun of cooperating and using their favorite heroes that they have grown. Each individual's role will also become important to this new content. Okay, this is really good. I had forgotten about this, but this has not been seen yet. So we actually have another game mode coming this year, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be released sometime. We don't know when. Presumably it's going to happen like chronologically, right? If they've set this up that they're going to introduce this and then this, and these are coming sort of in the same update, then this is probably going to come maybe, you know, August, September, October, right? So it's not going to come like right now, but it's going to be in a few months, which is still good, right? Because we have time to digest the emblem system. We have time to work out any of the wrinkles in that system and iron them out, and really make sure that the system is enjoyable for everyone. We have feedback that we can give about the multiverse saga to the devs in case they want to do more chapters of the multiverse saga, they want to do different teams, right? Because certainly if the multiverse saga is good, you could see them doing one for the Defenders. You could see them doing one for the Avengers. You can see them doing one for, you know, Secret Wars. Like, there's so many storylines, there's so many sub-teams, symbiotes, etc., and humans that they could explore down that path. So I genuinely hope that the multiverse saga is good and well received and balanced and fun and fair. But even if it's not, we can make it that way by giving the right feedback to the devs. PvP content, so that's okay. So we do still have something to look forward to this year. We're not fully done with content. PvP content to be improved. Timeline battle changes. So these changes have already been implemented. In my opinion, just to give them a quick summary, I don't think it's enough. I think they need to make more changes to timeline. Timeline doesn't feel too much different than before, and the same problems with timeline are still there, where there's too much predictability and repetitiveness in teams, and the ban lists, the restricted lists, and the buff lists are meaningless, and the rewards are still outdated. Otherworld Battle is definitely better. I still think there need to be some changes to Otherworld Battle a little bit, but the larger expanded ban list, debuff list is very, very good. But I do think they need to tweak things a little bit, mainly with the battlefield effects, the positive, negative effects that last like 30 days. I think those effects either need to last less time, they need to be shorter so that we see more of them, or there needs to be an expanded list. Like, instead of 3 buffs, there should be 5 or 6 buffs, buffs and debuffs that target a specific, humans, evil characters, mutants, etc. That target like a subgroup of characters. Conquest. They haven't done anything. They've done nothing for Conquest. It's exactly the same. And that's disappointing. I still think Conquest can be a great game mode. I think it needs a lot of work. And I hope the devs are up for it. But I genuinely think, and they should listen to players like Commander, who are big into Conquest and have given a lot of feedback on Conquest. I think they should, whatever changes they're meaning to make in Conquest, they should be prepared to make twice as many changes. I know that in game development, devs generally are cautious and they are sort of careful and conservative. And so when they see a game, when they identify a game mode that needs to be changed, they usually don't change it radically. They usually make small changes and see and like, you know, they make a couple of Rubik's Cube swaps, they put it down and they see how the community reacts. And then they'll pick it back up again and then make a couple of changes. This can certainly be frustrating for the community, especially the Conquest community that has been begging for changes for literally years. But I would encourage them to just be ready with your notes when the time does come and Conquest does get patched. And then PvP content stat adjustments. So they have made some adjustments, I think, to Pierce in PvP. Honestly, the problem is I can't tell, so I'm not sure. So I actually don't think this has been implemented yet. And they've adjusting the additional Pierce stat, but also adjusting the balance of other stats. Yes, I genuinely don't think this has been changed yet. So we still have a new game mode to look forward to, Conquest changes to look forward to, and PvP stat adjustments to look forward to. And then, like, of course, other new characters that could be coming beyond Valyria and Franklin. So yeah, like saying all of that, and we know that there's only 6 months left in the year, I'm really excited, right? I'm certainly cautiously optimistic. I'm certainly, you know, ready to give criticism, absolutely. But I am cautiously optimistic considering we still have that much to enjoy, plus updates, plus MCU tie-ins, movie stuff, TV stuff, and they still have plans, you know, for the game moving forward. And these plans are laid not for the short term, but for the long term. So yeah, that's kind of my full take. I apologize that this basically took multiple videos to get my full ideas and thoughts out there, but I think it was important to cover everything sort of step by step to build up to the biggest ideas and the most important ideas. And sorry that MSF had to catch a stray in the meantime, but I do hope that game does turn around. Anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.